Namaste yogis. Just a quick intro before this video starts. You're going to get most of the way through this class and then my phone is going to run out of memory and the video is going to stop. So I'm going to restart and I'm going to get a few more minutes into the class and then my phone is going to run out of memory and it's going to stop again just about to the end. So you'll see those couple of breaks. The last like 3 minutes of class I'm going to do from right here on my patio. I think this class will be enjoyable though, even if it's broken up into funky little pieces. This whole recording classes and doing this video production stuff is a very steep learning curve. One day at a time, I'm getting better at it. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for your patience. I love you so much. Enjoy the class. Namaste. Namaste, Sirsasana fam. How are you? I miss you guys dearly. Here we go. Quarantine week 2. Hope you guys are hanging in there. I know I've had some tough moments in the last week and it's a roller coaster ride, so just a reminder to be gentle with yourself when you need to be gentle with yourself, when you have the time and the space and the energy to be productive and get things done, take advantage of it. But there's no right or no wrong way to go about this quarantine business I'm finding in my own life, because it's weird and it's unusual and it's not normal, so we're doing the best that we can. Today we're going to be exploring Sirsasana 1, headstand 1. I know some of you have requested this class from me, so we're going to give it a shot. Definitely want to have some props with you today. 2 blocks if you have them. If you don't have blocks, again, same as always, books, something solid, something that can support your weight. Since we're using 2 of them, best to have 2 that are similar size. Something slippery. So I've been using these little furniture sliders lately. If you have wood floors at home, socks, hand towels, paper towels, paper plates, Tupperware lids, really anything. If you have carpet floors or a surface that isn't slippery, paper plates and Tupperware lids would probably be my #1 recommendation. Or you can find these furniture sliders for like $5 on Amazon. Talking in terms of headstand, quite a few things going on. We'll work with neutrality and the legs. In particular, the action of adduction, adduction, the thighs squeezing together. So when we go upside down, the legs drawing in towards midline. Of course, we'll work with the core since we're going upside down and playing with our balance. The biggest thing in this pose is going to be kind of the chest to the top of the head, the shoulder girdle, the cervical spine. So in particular, talking about overhead flexion as the arms go overhead, external rotation, a little bit of protraction, so this pressing forward of the shoulder blades onto the rib cage, and then axial extension of the cervical spine, so the crown of the head in headstand, in this case pressing down into the floor. So this won't really be a flow style class, we'll piece it together one thing at a time. Really the opportunity to explore fear and uncertainty and new experiences. I feel like this kind of goes right along with the theme of our world today. So all of that said, let's get started in Virasana today. So in hero pose, sitting up on your heels with the knees bent. If this is too much for your knees, you can find a block, sit up on a block and just give yourself a bit of extra height. And so notice if the thighs want to spin in or out. Can you find this place where the legs, the knees, the thighs are coming neutral out from the hips? And allow the hands to rest face down or face up on the thighs. Lengthen up through the crown of the head, sit tall. Feel your tailbone rooting down either into your block or your heels. Draw the belly in slightly, tuck the chin, and as you feel ready, allow the eyes to close or the gaze to soften towards the floor. And place the attention and the awareness on the movement of the breath. Just taking these first couple of minutes, as we always do, to check in. Notice the body, your current energy levels, any sensations that are sticking out to you. Notice the mind, the content and the quality of your thoughts. If there's any mental activity already stirred up about the perspective of going upside down into a headstand. Notice the emotions, emotional residue from the last few days or a couple of weeks, or maybe even just the last day. And so even if we aren't in the same room at the same time, take just a moment to appreciate the ability to connect virtually. Even if you haven't seen the people that are typically next to you in class, send out some awareness, some love, some compassion to those people, to the community that you're so used to seeing here. And just notice that you and I are not alone in this. Yoga means union. We, at least in my personal life, have been so deeply reminded of union the last few weeks. People coming together all over the world, reaching out, supporting, offering love, offering service, offering kind words, making it just a bit more accessible to approach uncertainty and discomfort. Draw your hands to heart center. We offer up the fruits of this practice for the benefit of all living beings. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Release the hands down to the knees or the thighs. Flutter the eyes open. And find your way to downward facing dog, please. You can set your props out of the way for now. And if there's any movements you need to do to prepare to come into down dog, that's fine. And then as you find your way into the pose, take a few breaths, pedal the feet, bend the knees, shift and move however you need to. And then, of course, start to find your way into stillness. Spread your fingers wide. Line the index fingers up with the outer edge of your shoulders, index fingers parallel. As you press down the inner edge of the palms, can you externally rotate the shoulders, spin the outer arms down, spin the biceps up. Notice how that external rotation causes the shoulder blades to press forward onto the rib cage just a bit more. Let's bring a generous bend into both knees, lengthen and reach the tailbone even further up towards the ceiling, create more length through the spine. Press firmly through the hands, spread across the shoulder blades. Take an inhale here, keep the length in the spine, and then slowly start to sink the heels towards the floor. Start to work into some of that neutrality in the legs. Look back at your feet. If you can see your heels, turn the legs out slightly so the heels hide behind the feet and the toes. And then energetically squeeze your legs together. Feel the inner line of the thighs engage from the ankles all the way up to the groins. You might find even more space to lengthen the spine as you engage the legs actively. Press the tops of your thighs straight back, and then send your heels down towards the floor. Stretch the hamstrings. 3 breaths here. And 1 more breath. Come high on the tippy toes. And take as many steps as you can. Tippy toe your feet all the way up to meet the hands. Come to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Let's start with the bent knees. Notice if the knees want to fall in or out. Stack the knees right over the ankles. Grab opposite elbow with opposite wrist. Hang heavy here. Nod the head, shake the head no. Maybe the shimmy from side to side as you settle the belly and the chest down onto the thighs even more. Just a couple of breaths here. And release the fingertips to the floor, plant the feet evenly, press through the heels, start to send the thighs straight back. Reach the tailbone up for the ceiling, and take the stretch into the hamstrings once again. Notice if the knees want to fall in or out. Notice if the thighs want to spin in or out. Knees point straight ahead. Belly draws towards the spine. You might even press your fingertips down into the floor. Take a couple of breaths here. Begin to wake up the hamstrings, the backs of the legs. One more breath. Find a halfway lift. Bring the hands to the hips. Squeeze the elbows in so they point towards the ceiling. Press down through the heels. Reach the heart forward, the tailbone back, lengthen the spine. And then on your next inhale, dig through the heels, hinge up at the hips as you rise to stand. Come to stand in Tadasana. You can face the top edge of your mat still. I'll come to stand facing you. Let's go feet together, big toes together, heels slightly spread. Firm the muscles of the legs on all sides. Focus especially on the squeezing of the feet towards each other and the inner line of your thighs engaging. Draw the kneecaps up, engage your quads, press your heels down and back. Engage your hamstrings. Reach the fingertips down, broaden across the collarbones, lift the sternum towards the chin. Draw the pelvic floor and the low belly up and in. Energize here. We'll spend a few breaths in Tadasana. So, Sirsasana, headstand, is exactly this pose here, just flipped upside down. So again, squeeze the legs together, energize the legs, draw the belly in, energize the core. Lift up through the crown of the head, almost as if you were pressing the head into the ceiling. Reach the fingertips down. Take a full breath in, and a full breath out. And keep everything active the way it is. Sweep the arms out to the sides. Energize the legs and the belly. Flip the palms up, create external rotation in the shoulders. Draw the belly in and the ribs in, and then continue to sweep the arms up overhead. Clasp your hands, flip the palms up to face the ceiling. Press up through your index finger knuckle. Draw back on your pinky fingers. Again, draw the belly and the low ribs in. Tilt the tailbone for the heels. See if you can round the shoulder blades forward onto the rib cage. And then lift up through the crown of the head, up through the fingertips. Hold here 3 breaths. The energy of the feet pressing down, the energy of the hands pressing up. Wrap the triceps forward, take one more inhale. On your exhale with control, release the arms down. Relax the legs. Just stand for a moment, close the eyes. Just notice how much energy was required just to stand in that active Tadasana. Let's go one more time. Firm the legs. Squeeze the feet towards each other. Press the heels away from each other. Draw the kneecaps up. Press the heels down and back. Tilt the tailbone down slightly. Draw the low belly in. Draw the ribs in. Keep everything active. Take the arms out to the sides. Flip the palms. Create external rotation. Feel how that presses the shoulder blades slightly forward onto your back. Keep this external rotation. Finish the extension of the arms overhead. Clasp the hands. Switch the grip. Flip the palms. Press through the index fingers. Draw the pinkies back. Wrap the triceps forward. And then energize down through the feet, up through the crown of the head. 3 breaths. Stretch up. And take a full breath in. On your exhale, with control, release the arms down. Let's roll the shoulders back. And then roll the shoulders forward. Come to stand at the top of your mat in Tadasana. We'll take a few rounds through Surya Namaskar. So find your active Tadasana pose, mountain pose. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Externally rotate the shoulders. Press the palms together. Look at the thumbs. On your exhale, hinge at the hips. Dive forward. Uttanasana. Forward fold. On your inhale, find a halfway lift. Flatten the back. Bend the knees as needed. As you exhale, plant the hands. Step back. Find high plank. Pause here. Shoulders over wrists. Press the earth away. Externally rotate the shoulders, so biceps spin forward, triceps spin backward. Heels over toes, squeeze the legs together. Continue to work with that neutral adduction of the thighs. Draw the belly up and in. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower the knees. Bend the elbows straight back. Lower with control to the earth. Reach the legs up into the air behind you on this first round. Energize the backside of the body. Press into the hands, straighten through the arms until the toes touch down. Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Slide the hands towards the hips, roll the shoulders down the back. Take an inhale. On your exhale, reach your heart forward and down. Press yourself back to all fours and to downward facing dog. Externally rotate the shoulders. Squeeze the legs towards each other. On your inhale, lift your heels, look forward. On your exhale, bend the knees, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Strong legs. Inhale, rise to stand. Sweep the arms up. Look high, Urdhva Namaskar. Exhale, release the arms down. Tadasana. Round 2. Inhale, reach up, look up, and grow tall. Exhale, hinge, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Plant the hands, step back, high plank. Find your strong high plank. Press the hands away. Spin the triceps back, draw the belly in, engage the legs. Option to lower the knees here or keep them lifted. Take an inhale. On your exhale, lower partway down chaturanga. You can lower all the way to the floor for cobra or flip the tops of the feet, straighten through the arms, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Take an inhale. Exhale, find your way up and back. Downward facing dog. Externally rotate the shoulders. Squeeze the legs together. Inhale, lift the heels, look forward. Exhale, step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, Tadasana. One more round. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, high plank. Hold for your inhale. Your option for chaturanga, exhale. Back bend of your choice, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Here for 3 breaths. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Energize the legs and create space across the shoulders. One more breath in. One more breath out. Lift your heels, look forward. Exhale, step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Rise to stand, sweep the arms up overhead, externally rotate the shoulders. Exhale, release the arms down, Tadasana, mountain pose. So come to standing Tadasana one more time. Firm the legs and just notice the shoulders. You can close the eyes here or keep them open. Notice if your tendency is to roll the shoulders forward, or if the shoulders have a bit more space to move into external rotation. Let's do that a couple of times actively. Internally rotate your shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades roll forward. Externally rotate the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades press forward onto the rib cage. One more time. Internal rotation. External rotation. Internal, spin the palms in. External, spin the palms out. Now come down onto your knees. We'll find tabletop position. Find your slippery, sliding surface. And we'll come to tabletop with the hands on the slippery surface. I know some of you have done this with me in the last few weeks in person, so this might be familiar. So shoulders right over wrists, hips over knees. Spread your fingers wide, press the earth away, and then create the action of external rotation. So the biceps spin forward, the triceps spin backward, and see if you can feel that action happening in the shoulders. Take an inhale, and then on your exhale, create more external rotation. Spin the fingers away from each other as far as they go till they get stuck. And notice where you feel that in the shoulders. Keep that activity. Feel how the shoulder blades press onto the rib cage. Draw the tops of the shoulders down away from the ears, press down into the hands. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, spin the hands back around. Fingers face forward. And again, find the action of external rotation, biceps forward, triceps back. Hold for an inhale. Then again, on your exhale, externally rotate as far as you can. Spin the fingers away from each other. Keep that action. Find where the heat is starting to build in the outer shoulders. Press the hands down. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Hold here for an inhale. On your exhale, spin the fingers back around to the front of the room. Index fingers parallel. Create external rotation, biceps forward, triceps back. Find downward facing dog. Press down the inner edge of your hands. See if you can spin the outer edge of your arms down even more. I know we're on a slippery surface, so it's lots of work here for 3, for 2, for 1. Step your feet up to meet your hands. Find a halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. And then rise to stand, sweep the arms up. Release the arms down, Tadasana. As you stand in Tadasana, notice if the shoulders have a little bit more intention to externally rotate just on their own. You might even notice more space across the chest. Definitely some sensation in these external rotators. Just pause for a moment. And then we're going to do that one more time. So come back down to your knees. You have options here. You can stay in tabletop the way we were. If you'd like to progress this movement and make it a little bit more difficult, a little bit more work, step the feet back, find high plank. Fingers face forward. Externally rotate, biceps forward, triceps back, press the earth away, engage the legs, engage the belly, and then again, spin the hands away from each other, create as much external rotation as you can. Hold here for 3, for 2, for 1. Spin the hands back neutral, fingers forward. Externally rotate, hold for an inhale. Exhale, externally rotate all the way back. Pinky spin back. Find that activity in the outer edge of the shoulders. Draw the shoulders down the back. Press the shoulder blades forward onto the rib cage. Draw your belly up and in, squeeze your legs together. Take an inhale. Exhale, spin the hands back around, fingers forward. Externally rotate, send your hips up and back. Down dog. Hold here. 3, 2, 1. And step up. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Rise to stand, sweep the arms up. Notice if there's a bit more space. Then release the arms down. Stand in Tadasana. Notice the sensation of the shoulders continuing to roll externally, the shoulder blades pressing forward. And flutter the eyes open. Grab one of your blocks and stand in Tadasana. The legs together, your blocks or your book in between your hands. Again, create that sensation. Actually, let's take the arms out straight in front of you. Externally rotate the upper arms so the biceps spin up, the triceps spin down. And feel the shoulder blades pressing onto the back. Draw the low belly and the low ribs in on your inhale. Sweep the arms up overhead. Resist the urge to flare the ribs, to flare the belly. Squeeze the hands onto the block, and then see if you can externally rotate the shoulders even more. Triceps wrap in and forward, biceps spin back. Energize the legs, reach up here for an inhale. And exhale, release the arms down. Come to stand at the top of your mat. Take an inhale. On your exhale, step your left foot back. Let's find crescent lunge. So you've still got your block. Let's make this a really strong crescent. So the right knee right over the right ankle, high onto the toes of the back foot. Squeeze the legs towards each other, in towards the midline, and then back and forth like the blades of a scissor. Tilt the tailbone down slightly, draw your low belly and your low ribs in. Take the block in front of you. Externally rotate, draw the ribs in, squeeze the block, and then flex the shoulders up and overhead. Continue to engage the legs. Continue to wrap your triceps forward. Reach up through the block. Draw the rib cage in. Here for 3 breaths. Draw the right hip back, the left hip forward. Draw the thumbs back for an inhale. On your exhale, step up, release the block down. Take a breath. Let's go right to the other side. Step the right foot back. Set up your crescent lunge one more time, so this doesn't have to be like a smooth vinyasa transition. Draw back on the left hip, forward on the right hip. Squeeze the legs in towards the midline. Flex the shoulders to 90 degrees. Externally rotate, tilt your tailbone down, draw your belly and your ribs in, and then flex the shoulders up overhead, 180 degrees. Wrap the tricep forward, squeeze the palms in, reach up through the fingertips. 3 breaths. Take one more inhale. Exhale, step up, release the block down. Set the block down on the floor. Meet in Tadasana. Squeeze the legs in. Draw the belly in, lift up through the crown of the head. Allow the shoulders to roll open. On your inhale, take the arms up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, find length. Plant the hands, step back, find high plank. You can move through a vinyasa here, or we'll meet. You can flow through a vinyasa here, or come to meet straight and downward facing dog. And then lower the knees to the floor. Push back to sit on your heels. So we've been working with a lot of active external rotation and overhead flexion. We're going to use gravity to help stretch and create a little bit more passive range in overhead flexion. So find your blocks. You can set them up on low or medium height. Sink the hips back to the heels, setting up for extended child's pose. Hands go up on the blocks. Sink the forehead and the heart towards the floor. Press the hands firmly into the blocks. Spin the outer arms down. And sink the chest down. Keep the arms active and engaged. So press the hands firmly into the blocks. Try and keep the forehead on the floor. Wrap the outer arms down. Feel the shoulder blades pressing onto the back. If you want even more sensation here, take the blocks to their highest setting and try and work with the same thing. Forehead on the mat, external rotation, and the palms pressing down. Here for 3 breaths. One more breath. And then release the arms down by the sides. And just create some softness through the shoulders. And then come up to sit on your heels. So you can sit on your knees, you can sit on a blanket, you can sit on a block. We're going to spend just a couple of moments here working through the movement of the scapula, the shoulder blades, as you hear me call them a lot of the time. So you'll need one of your blocks. You'll take your block in between your hands out to 90-degree flexion, so arms in front of you. Externally rotate the shoulders. We'll start by retracting the shoulder blades. So squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back so you feel like they're pinching the spine. This is scapular retraction. Now press the block away, feel the shoulder blades spread, scapular protraction. Keep externally rotating the block and squeezing the hands in. Retract the shoulder blades, squeeze the spine. Protract the shoulder blades, feel the shoulder blades broaden and round. Let's go one more time. Retract. Then protract. And then find that place somewhere right in the middle. So not squeezing all the way together, not all the way spread, but nice and firm on the back. Wrap the triceps down, external rotation. Draw the belly in, the lower ribs in. Close the eyes and just feel that stability in the shoulder girdle. Take a full breath in. On your exhale, release the arms down. Rest for a moment. So, retraction, protraction. Next set of movements is elevation, the shoulder blades hugging up towards the ears, and then depression, the shoulder blades drawing down. So elevation is up, depression is down. Makes sense. One more time, grab your block. 90-degree flexion in front, squeeze the block, wrap the triceps down. Sit tall, engage the belly, engage the core. Elevate the shoulder blades, squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. Depress the scapula, draw the shoulder blades down the back. A couple more times. Elevation and depression. Elevation, depression. One more time. Elevation and depression. Release the arms. Rest for a moment. So that should create a good amount of heat, if there's not already, good amount of heat up in this shoulder girdle. So right now building some strength and stability as well as mobility as we move the scapula through their full range of motion. So we're going to put all of those movements together now. Grab your block, 90 degrees of flexion. External rotation in the upper arms, so biceps up, triceps down. Let's start with retraction, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Elevation, hug them up to the ears. Protraction, press them away. Depression, slide them down. Retract, elevate, protract, depress. Retract, elevate, protract, depress. Now let's go the opposite direction. So protract, elevate, retract, depress. Protract, elevate, retract, depress. One more time here. Protract, elevate, retract, depress, and then protract slightly so you find that neutral, stable position. Wrap the arms down, squeeze the block, draw the belly and draw the ribs and lift up tall through the crown of the head. Take a full breath in. Exhale, release the arms down. And set your block off to the side for a moment here and just rest, sitting up on your knees. Notice all of that blood, that heat, that awareness and aliveness moving through the shoulder blades. And let's take this a step further. So we'll keep working through this movement, creating stability through retraction and protraction. So come to your tabletop, all fours, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Spread the fingers wide, grip the hands into the earth. Let's start by externally rotating the shoulders. So externally rotate the upper arms, biceps forward, triceps back. Now retract the shoulder blades. Just allow the heart to sink down towards the floor, almost giving in to the weight of gravity. Slide the shoulder blades down the back, depress them slightly, and then protract, press the earth away. Keep this protraction for a moment. Depress the shoulder blades, slide them down the back, and then retract slightly so the shoulder blades squeeze together towards that neutral position. and draw down the back. Just feel how much work that is to keep the shoulder blades right at neutral. Take an inhale, and exhale, hold this, and then sit back. So we'll do this a couple more times, retraction, protraction, and then somewhere in the middle. When you find this somewhere in the middle, imagine the shoulder blades drawing together and then down into opposite back pockets. So as you retract the shoulder blades, it's almost this drawing together and down into the opposite pocket. And you'll feel this really tangible pressing forward of the shoulder blades onto the ribs, really stable in the shoulder girdle. So let's try this one more time. Come back to all fours. Externally rotate the arms. Just find passive retraction. Give into gravity, heart sinks down. Now find active protraction. Punch the earth away. Now depress and retract slightly. So the right shoulder blade draws towards the left pocket, left shoulder blade draws towards the right pocket. Draw the low belly and the ribs in, lengthen forward through the crown of the head. Externally rotate the arms. Hold here for 3, for 2, for 1, and push back to sit on your heels. Rest for a moment. So we'll take this the next step further. From all fours into high plank. If you want to stay on tabletop and continue working with that, that's perfectly fine. If you want to progress the movement, make it more difficult, we'll come to high plank. So let's all meet in tabletop, shoulders over wrists. Start with the external rotation, and then find your plank pose. Engage the legs, engage the belly. Start with your passive retraction. So shoulder blades just hug together, the heart sinks down. And then actively protract. Punch the earth away. And then depress and retract slightly. So shoulders draw away from ears and come together just a little bit. Externally rotate the arms. Keep pressing the hands down. Draw the belly up and in. Engage the legs. Hold here. 3, 2, 1. And lower the knees. Rest for a moment. Okay, last progression. You have options. Tabletop. High plank. For this last option, we'll come to forearm plank. So palms and elbows start forearms distance apart. You can use your forearm here to measure. Elbow to elbow, elbow to elbow. Create that external rotation. So triceps back, press the palms down, and then step the feet back. Find your forearm plank. Start with passive retraction. Heart sinks towards the floor. And then active protraction, punch the shoulder blades away, and then slight depression, slight retraction. This really active, really stable shoulder joint position. Hold here, 3, 2, 1. Let's go right into another round. Passive retraction, active protraction, and then a slight retraction and depression. Keep squeezing the elbows in. Press the hands firmly down into the earth and away from each other. Hold here. 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees to the floor. Push the hips back. Find an extended child's pose. Arms go long, forehead to the mat. Keep the arms active. Press the hands down. Spin the outer arms down towards the floor. And come up to sit on your heels. So same thing, you can sit on your heels, or you can sit on a blanket or a block rather, and we'll keep working into this action of external rotation and overhead flexion. So when we go into Sirsasana, when we go into headstand, arms are overhead, hands are clasped, press the elbows and the forearms down into the earth to mitigate some of the weight that's on the head. When we come into this overhead flexion, the tendency of the shoulders is to internally rotate, so the elbows to go wide, and we find ourselves really unstable here in the shoulders. So instead we're going to work to keep the elbows wrapped in as we go overhead. So for this one, I know Some of you guys have done this with me too. We'll start with the arms just out in front, 90-degree flexion. Externally rotate the upper arm, so biceps up, triceps down. And then flex at the elbows, palms face in. Notice how the palms and the elbows are the same width distance. Draw the low belly and the low ribs in without losing this setup here. Slowly, with control, start to take the shoulders into overhead flexion. Notice as you go, the elbows are going to want to go wide and the hands will start to come together. And you can look at your arms to make sure that's not happening. Resist, press the hands away, squeeze the elbows in. Resist the urge to flare the ribs, draw the belly and draw the ribs in. Go to your end point where this movement gets nearly impossible. Hold for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. It's a lot of work, right? So it's not as intense when we're here because we actually let the hands come together, but we're resisting the urge of the elbows to go wide. So we're strengthening these external rotators as we keep the shoulders moving into external rotation even as we go into flexion. So take just another breath here and we'll go one more time through that little sequence. And so 90 degrees of flexion. Externally rotate the upper arms, triceps down, biceps up, and then spin the palms to face each other. Flex at the elbows, draw the ribs in the belly and sit tall. Keep this space here. And then again, with control, without letting the elbows go wide, without letting the palms come in. Start to take the shoulders into overhead flexion. Allow the shoulder blades to elevate slightly. Use your gaze, check in. Are your hands coming together? Spread them apart, squeeze the elbows in, hold for 3, 2, 1, and release. Oh yeah, roll, shake, shimmy the shoulders, and we'll move on. So we've got that overhead flexion. We have that external rotation. The next thing in this piece, this headstand piece, is the head and the cervical spine, the neck. So find your way to a wall. You can bring your video with you if you need, or if you have a wall close by. And we'll work with some axial extension of the cervical spine against force. So come to tabletop with the crown of your head just touching the wall. And so you really want to use the top of your head, the true crown of your head. If you're too far in the back or too far in the front, you'll start to crunch your neck. So really right on the crown. Take the crown of the head to the wall and start to press your head into the wall. If this is unpleasant sensation-wise, you can use a blanket or a shirt in between your head and the wall. But it's just sensation. So firing up the neck. Draw the shoulders down the back, press the head into the wall, and then maybe start to consider floating the fingertips or floating the hands. You can take the arms out by the sides. Draw the shoulders down, keep the back of the neck long as you press the crown of the head into the wall. Hold here for 3, for 2, for 1, and then release the hands down. Come back to sit on your heels. And so the good news is in headstand 1, we're not supporting the entire weight of our body on our head and our neck. We have the arms and the shoulders to come into play. So when we take this into headstand and go upside down, we really want to focus on more than the head being on the floor, the press of the forearms and the elbows into the floor. So this shoulder stability, this shoulder strength that we've been working with is going to come into play. So we're going to find this movement, we're going to do it at the wall. So same thing, you'll come back to your tabletop at the wall and start with the crown of the head on the wall, press the head forward, energize, activate through the neck. And then same thing, come to float the hands. This time, you'll bring the elbows and the forearms to frame the head on the wall. Clasp your fingers, and the fingers will just cup the round part of your head, just right behind the crown. So pinky fingers might even be on the wall itself. And then again, externally rotate the shoulders, wrap the elbows in, step the knees back just a bit further, and then press into the arms, float the crown of the head off the wall. And then push the head back to the wall. We'll do that a few times. Press into the arms, float the crown of the head away from the wall, and then take the crown of the head back. A few more like that. Press the arms, wrap the shoulder blades onto the back, and then release the crown of the head back. 3 more. Arms press in, elbows squeeze in, and release. 2 more. Press, float the head away from the wall, and release. Last one, press, hold here. Wrap the triceps down, wrap the shoulder blades forward onto the back. Hold for 3, for 2, for 1, set the crown of the head back onto the wall, release the fingers, and sit back onto your heels. So we're almost there to that point where we can start to take things upside down. We'll move next into dolphin pose, and dolphin pose might be enough for you today. You'll have the option to play with some variations, so dolphin pose, maybe into headstand, maybe just into headstand prep. But let's all come down to a forearm plank. And again, we're going to create this forearm with distance, so elbows squeezing in, fingertips moving away from each other, and then find your way into your plank. Protract the shoulder blades. And then, well, let's start with a retract. Squeeze them together, protract, and then slightly retract and depress so the shoulder blades feel really solid. Squeeze the elbows in, press the hands away, and then start to walk the legs in to a dolphin pose. Press the elbows down into the floor. See if you can get the crown of the head further from the floor. And then a few times, lower the crown of the head to tap the floor. Press into the elbows, float the head. Lower and lift. So some scapular push-ups here. Lower and lift. Same thing we did on the wall, just more force to work against. 2 more. Lower and lift. Last one. Lower and lift. Walk the feet back, forearm plank. Lower the knees. Push back, find child's pose. And come up to sit on your heels. So there's lots of opportunity to find work towards headstand here without actually going there. So that pose we just did, dolphin pose, either with or without that lifting and lowering movement is a great one. This next opportunity is going to get us a little bit closer. So we'll come back to our forearm plank, but this time clasp the hands. There's a few options. You can clasp, so the pinkies are kind of one pinky's inside of the other, so you have this nice flat edge on the floor, or you can clasp pinky on top of pinky. Doesn't really matter, sometimes rings can make that a little bit funky, so you might explore a couple of things, find what works for you. Come back down to that forearm plank, clasp your hands, and with the elbows wrapping in the hands clasped, make your way to your forearm plank. Retract, protract, and then slightly retract and depress. Start to walk the feet in, press the chest towards the thighs, dolphin pose. And then a few times here, lower the crown of the head into the hands like you were going to go into headstand, and then press the crown of the head away from the floor. Lower the crown, shift forward slightly, press the crown away, shift back to dolphin. 3 more like that. Lower and shift forward, top of the head touches down, back of the head is cradled in the hands, press away. 2 more, lower, shift forward, press and shift back. Last one, lower, shift forward, press and shift back. Lower your knees. Child's pose. Shoulders go wide. All right. Home to sit on your knees. So another piece of the puzzle there. Getting closer to actually going upside down. Let's switch directions just real quick. We're going to come and stand up on our feet and just balance for a little bit, since there's some balance required as we go upside down. So find your strong Tadasana with the feet together. Squeeze the legs in. Draw the low belly and the low ribs in. Energize the legs. Stand on the left foot first. Float the toes of the right foot. Externally rotate. And then draw the right foot to the inside edge of the left foot. Find your balance in tree pose here. You can keep the hands at the hips if you want to give the shoulders a break, or the hands at heart center. If you want to continue to work some more space in the shoulders, overhead flexion, wrap the elbows in, external rotation, draw the low belly and the low ribs in. And just notice how it feels to balance in space. So just warming up this part of our brain, this proprioception, this ability to know where we are in space and adjust as needed. Take 3 more breaths here. Maybe bring the hands to touch or clasp. Then, with control, come out of the pose. Let's go right to the other side, weight onto the right foot, active legs, toes of the left foot, externally rotate, and then draw your left foot up to the inside edge of your right leg. Firm your outer right hip. Hands at hips, hands at heart, arms overhead. Alright, my phone stopped recording halfway through that tree pose, so we're going to start right where we left off. On the right side, active legs come to the toes of the left foot. Draw the left foot up onto the right leg. Again, working with this balance, this proprioception, hands at hips, hands at heart, maybe the arms up overhead. Press down through the foot, lengthen up through the crown of the head. So just like you were in handstand, except pressing, or headstand, except pressing through the head, extending through the feet. Just a few breaths here. Maybe for an extra challenge, consider closing your eyes. See how well that went for me. If you had your eyes closed, you missed it. And take just your last couple of breaths here. And then with control, come out of the pose. All right, last bit of class, we're going to play with headstand. We're going to take it up. So again, like I mentioned earlier, there's options. You don't have to go into headstand if you don't feel comfortable. If you're working with maybe some insecurity, some discomfort, some fear about balancing or about going upside down, a wall is a great thing to have handy. So you can pause the video, you can bring the video with you. And again, some of those options that we talked about earlier. Option 1, great place to start, is just some of these scapular forearm push-ups. This retraction, protraction, and then slight depression and retraction. If you want some more, you've got dolphin pose. This can be a great place to stay, wrapping the elbows in, the fingertips away from each other. Maybe float one leg, hold for a few breaths, and then float the other. You also have the option here too to work with those scapular push-ups, tapping the head to the floor and then lifting it away. Or to get closer to headstand, clasp the hands, dolphin pose with the hands clasped, shift forward, lower the head, and then shift back. You can do that a few times. Or if you're ready to take it all the way up, come to your wall, use a blanket or your mat. Set yourself up pretty close to the wall, so maybe 3-4 inches from your hands to the wall. And start in this forearm plank, do the retraction, the protraction, slight depression and retraction. Keep that engagement in the shoulders, walk the feet in, find your dolphin pose. And then lower the crown of the head to the floor, cradle the back of the head with the hands. Start to walk the toes in so the hips get a little bit closer to stacking right over the shoulders. Notice there's more weight on the crown of the head, so press the arms down into the floor like you were doing a scapular push-up. Mitigate some of the weight on the head. And then you can take one leg up and kick gently off the other leg. That's one option. Another option would be to walk both knees in, curl one knee to the chest, the other knee to the chest, and then start to take the feet and the legs up the wall. You want to resist jumping really hard with both legs here, since we are on the neck. So crown of the head presses down. And then more so than the crown of the head, press the elbows, the forearms down into the earth. Feel the shoulder blades pressing firmly onto the back. If you're at the wall, maybe float one foot, and then the other. Find your balance, squeeze the legs together. Draw the belly in, point through the toes. Imagine you were standing in Tadasana, extending from the feet through the crown of the head. Don't forget to breathe. You can stay up here for as long or as short as you like. To come down, nice way to get out is slide the feet down the wall. And then bend the knees to the chest and slowly lower yourself down. And rest in child's pose. Take a few breaths. And so I invite you to pause the video if you'd like to spend some time playing and working with those things, since we moved through those pretty quickly. My phone is running out of memory, so I'm running out of time here as well. If you want to pause the video and play, you can come back. We'll take just a few stretches to close things out. If you're with me already, just find your seat up on a block, a blanket, a bolster, just somewhere you can sit tall. It doesn't have to be on your knees, could be cross-legged. Just give the neck some release. So take the right arm up and over the head to capture the left side of the head, and gently traction the chin and the neck down towards the right. Allow your left shoulder to soften. A few breaths here. And then release. Roll the chin down through center and back up through neutral. The other side, left arm reaches up and over the head to capture the right temple. And then slowly take the left ear to the left shoulder. Allow the right shoulder to be heavy. A big sensation of stretch. Okay, so when I left you at the studio, doing some neck stretches side to side, so take as much time on those as you need. When you're done with the side to side, you can clasp both hands behind the head, traction the neck down towards the chest. As you pull the head down towards the chest, press the back of the head gently back into the hands. And find that nice big stretch down the back of the neck. Take a few breaths here. And when you're done with this flexion of the neck, Come back to neutral, hands to the top of the head, press down with the hands, press up with the head, extend through the neck, axial extension. Create some decompression through the cervical vertebrae. Create a bit of space through the neck. Spend a few breaths here. And then when you're done with the neck, a couple of options to stretch out the shoulders. Really anything works. You can take an arm across the body, squeeze the arm in, draw the shoulder back. That once on each side, spend a few breaths. Of course, clasp the hands behind the back, wrap the elbows in, broaden, roll the shoulders back, and then extend through the arms. You can lie down on your belly and roll to one side as we do. Spend a few breaths stretching the anterior deltoid, the front of the shoulder. However much time you have, you can spend as long as you need. Highly encourage taking a few minutes just to rest in Shavasana when you're done stretching out the neck and the shoulders. Again, I'm sorry that this video broke up the way that it did, but I didn't want to let the other hour of class go to waste, so I'm piecing it together and I'm making it work. I hope this practice was enjoyable for you. If you have any questions about any of this headstand, inversion, upside down shoulder stuff, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Most of you guys know where to find me. If you don't, connect to the studio can connect you to me. Find me on Instagram, reach out directly, whatever it might be. Stay strong, keep moving, keep breathing, stay in the practice. One day at a time, we're getting through this thing. We're all in this together. Again, I love you so dearly. I'm so grateful for this community, for all of the support that I've received from each and every one of you. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful week. Namaste.